fold. They didn't fold being down 2-0, and they kept at it. They kept with their plan of attack and their structure and their system, and by working hard. And it would have been easy. Last year's team would have folded.
Right.
We know that. It's not even debatable what would have happened last year. They would have folded after outshooting the opposition 14-4 in the first and coming down 2.
Or as Coach, you made the point to it in there. Even if they had gotten to that point where they were at the end of that game, that they would have scored.
No doubt. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So the fact that these are all things, like mileposts or marker posts along this journey of things that you have to go through, and you have to find out what you're made of when you go through them. Look, there's going to be times where they're going to be in the same situation, and they are going to falter. And there's going to be times when you go down 2-0 and you're chasing the game and you're not going to win. The numbers belie that. But, to start to build these foundational blocks of who you are as an identity, as a team. And we keep hearing the term that we've got to be harder to play against. And it sounds, it's hokey as they come in sports parlance, right?
Right.
Of course you got to be hard to play against, But it's true. They got too easy to play against and standard.
Lineup.
Yeah, all these things, right? But they only mean something if they mean something.
Right.
And this coaching staff, John Tortorella, and we know this about Torts, he makes those things mean something because they mean something every day. They don't just mean something when he's in the mood for it to mean something.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
And just the approach that he brings to the way he does his job is just something that I didn't realize how different. What, they bring the rest of those over?
No, I got to thank somebody. I don't know the guy's name, but
Jason's got a rally towel here.
Yeah. A Red October rally towel. Right. I wish I knew the guy's name. He did it while I was on the air.
Okay.
And he gave it to me.
Nice.
Well, it smells new, too.
The method that Tortorella has brought to this team, which I didn't know anything about this, and I'm assuming that he's done it at least, in Columbus. He did it, but just coming in and again, he almost defers the coaching of
X's and O's
to his assistants completely. It seems, and he is coaching things like what's going on in the corner away from the puck, or what's going on in the blue paint in the end.
What's going on between the ears?
Yeah, and just this stuff like that. Making sure that he's not concerned about a set break out or anything like that. It's all right. How do we stop their advance blue line? It's just very, very different. Look, we might be able to bring Travis Konechny in. Mike, do you see Travis Konechny? I don't know. We're experimenting. Here we go. I got a live link from Warren over here. I think Zito's got it.
Nice. You can just keep it on yours for now.
My computer's not happy with me at all right now. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
I wonder if I'm getting any levels on the stream. Probably not. Maybe I am.
You should be getting... No, you wouldn't be getting this. You're getting our back and forth here on the stream. So sorry,
streamers. I'll find a way to do that going forward. If I have the link, then I can just pump what he's playing through, like add it into my screen.
Yeah.
All right, we can pull that after this one.
We'll take it back after this one, Mike. That's Travis Konechny downstairs talking with the media in the locker room after this one. And what a start to the season for him. I mean, it's not just the fact that he scored 3 goals; it's how he's looked doing it. He just seems to have the hop in his step and the assertiveness and just the overall demeanor that he had back in 2019, 2020 when he was an all-star and was having that what we thought was going to be a breakout year until COVID hit.
Yeah, and I'd like to thank TK for making me look good.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I said on the podcast a couple of days ago, the day of the opener, that I thought he needed to be the team's most valuable player. And I said that I thought he would be the team's most valuable player. I said I didn't think he'd lead the team in scoring, so I thought that would be Atkinson. It might be. Atkinson obviously hasn't played yet this year, but he would be the leading point getter on the team, which he was last year. So it wasn't like I went on a huge limb, but I just thought that in talking to TK a little bit, I just, like I said this the other day, I just sense a guy that's really settled where he is in his life.
Yeah.
And when all that other stuff is settled and you grow up a little bit and all, I think you can really be a pro. And you couple that with the fact that, Giroux's not here and, Cooch isn't in the lineup right now. So there is a void from a leadership standpoint. And he's just stepping right into this 24 to 29-year-old range, which is where you generally get your leaders from, in this sport because that's their professional prime.
Right.
And I just think that he's knows it's there in front of him and doesn't feel like he has to step on any toes to go and grab it. I feel like he's ready for it. And I just feel like he's got the right coach for him at the right time in his career. So I think it's like all of these things coming together that just have him set up for what I think can be a really monster year. And to put all the time from when the pandemic hit on March 13th of 2020 and the bubble and everything that went on between now and the end of last year behind him and go, you know what? I was an all-star in 1920 before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
I was on a 30-goal pace. I was on a 70-point pace. That's the player I am. And with all those other things settled and the pandemic and all that stuff in the rear view, I think you got a hyper-focused player, knowing what he is, knowing on and off the ice, and I think that has him poised. He's off to a great start.
We talked all through the preseason about how this was going to be a year where the Flyers had to figure out who they were. And, that's been going on and on and on. And Chuck Fletcher mentioned Travis Konechny by name. Is he a 50-point player? Is he a 70-point player? We got to find out what he is. And, you can't sit here after 2 games and say this is what he is.
Yeah.
But this is what we're looking for when we say they're trying to figure out what we got here. And the first 2 games of what we've seen from Travis Konechny is exactly what the Flyers had hoped to be seeing there.
No doubt.
And so I would say some other guys too.
Yeah.
Tanner Lisinski to me has had a fantastic first couple of games. He played center Thursday, and I thought he looked good there. I thought he was effective. He was making life difficult on the other team's top line. Flyers put him at wing tonight. They wanted to take the pressure off him a little bit. It's hard to play center in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, it is.
So they wanted to take the pressure off him a little bit. They put him on the wing tonight. I thought he had another solid game tonight. And so we're getting the first early looks here, I guess, at what some of these guys are.
No doubt. Let's take a quick timeout, and we're going to hope to hear from reports coming up. And when we come back, I want to talk about D'Angelo and Provorov, because that was a big question coming in. So we'll do that. Let's take a break on Flyers Postgame. It's Brian Smith, Jason Martinez from the East Food Hall, Wells Fargo Center. Flyers get the win 3-2 over the Vancouver Canucks, 2-0 on the season. Back after this on the BetRivers.com Flyers Podcast Network. That's right. We are back at the East Food Hall, Wells Fargo Center. It's Brian Smith, Jason Martinez. Flyers with a 3-2 win over the Canucks. Come from behind. Flyers gave up the first goal in both games, Brian. And they overcome the deficit 1-0 in game one against the Devils and win 5-2. Down 2-0 after one period of play in this game. Come back and win it 3-2. A little bit of resilience on your docket so far.
It's really interesting when you, and I don't have numbers in front of me. I just know this stuff anecdotally. We were talking the other day about how a second intermission lead results in a win 70% of the time or something like that. But at the same time, 90% of the time. At the same time, in this league, like no lead is safe. So I can't figure out how those two things jive together. But the best part about being down 2-0 tonight for the Flyers was that there was still 45 minutes left to go in the half. The fact that it was early, you can come back from that, as we just saw. And it's like that in a lot of pro sports these days. You see a big lead early, and it's like, okay, that's great, but there's still 8 innings to go. There's still 2.5 periods left to play if you're the one holding the lead. So I'm glad the Fly, and at the same time, it would be one thing if they were getting the doors knocked off tonight, gave up the first 2 goals, and somehow managed to luck out and score 3 and win it. That wasn't the case. Even when they were losing 2-0, they were playing like they should have been leading that game, and they were able to fortunately recover and get the result that I think they deserve.
No doubt about it. And finding a way to win is just such a huge element because it's got to find different ways, and this one was different than Thursday. You just said it before we came back on the air that 6-on-4 at the end was agonizing. I felt like it was never going to end.
First face-off, they set up, and it's like, I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. But we talked about your goaltender being able to quell situations like that, and Carter did that. The pucks, the saves that he made that he didn't gobble up, he directed the rebounds to where he wanted them to go. They went to the sides. They went to the corners. He never had a case where he gave up a big fat rebound right out in the slot on a 6-on-4 situation. So, and credit to the rest of the, I don't know, penalty kill is not the term. I guess it is a PK at that point. Credit to the rest of the guys on the ice for making sure that when they needed to, they got the puck out. Obviously, in that situation, one thing you can do is ice the puck at will, and they were able to take advantage of it.
So I mentioned before the break that we wanted to talk about Ivan Provorov and Tony DeAngelo, and I saw a couple of plays, in the face of pressure, the Canucks trying to get in on the forecheck, where I see some chemistry plays. Guys dropping pucks off, knowing support or their partners, on a swing or, rims when your guy's going to be on the wall, your partner and DeAngelo doing it to Provorov doing it to DeAngelo. Those two have come together really nicely. DeAngelo in this game played 27 minutes and 11 seconds of ice time. Now, 4:37 on the power play, but even more shorthanded. And he made a few plays for him shorthanded. They each played 5:13 shorthanded. Provorov saw a little bit of power play time, minute 14 in this game. So, you got a lot of great opportunity there with those two players. Provorov plays 23:41. DeAngelo 27:11. And boom, both of them end up on the score sheet in a positive way again. Both are +1. Provorov was +4 in the first game. Now he's +5 on the season. DeAngelo +1 in the game, gets a goal. Provorov gets an assist. Great start for those two. And also, the other part of it is Provorov, 6 shots on goal.
Wow.
That's...
Well, and here's the thing, too. Excuse me. Is that I was a little surprised when I saw Provorov on the power play early in the game, and I guess it was probably because the Flyers had the 2 consecutive power plays. They had to do something. But the idea right now for Provorov is for him not to play the power play as much. The coaching staff wants him to focus on his 5-on-5 game. They want him to focus on being dominant at even strength. So they're going to give him a ton of minutes. They're going to kill penalties, but they want him to concentrate on those two things and not so much on having to, eat up so much ice time and play so much in all situations. So they're going to dial him back a little bit on the power play, and maybe you see, just because it was a minute 47 off of power play time instead of what it could have been, maybe that's where you see that improvement in what he was doing 5-on-5.
Yeah, it's how you parse out the minutes, right?
Right.
And PK minutes are really hard. They're hard minutes to play. Power play minutes are a little less physically taxing. Sometimes the minutes are different, but you have to find the way to get the most effective use out of your player. And again, that's why Torts doesn't get bogged down in coaching like every element of X's and O's like he used to, because he has to be mindful. He has to manage everything, and that's a big part of it. So I think it's interesting, and I really like the way that those two have started the year. Provorov and Tony DeAngelo. And you couldn't have asked for a better start, both on the score sheet and on the ice.
Yeah, again, we are on basically the third time here the Flyers are trying to build a first pairing group that works well off each other. Provorov and Niskanen work very well off each other.
For Provorov.
Yeah, I can't remember who we've tried.
Ghost?
We maybe tried to stick some people in there. I don't know. It was they tried Sanheim last year, and actually it worked for a little bit. And then we saw Provorov playing with some young players.
York.
Trying to take charge. We liked what we saw there. I hope this one sticks. I am knocking on the wooden chair that I'm sitting on that, we don't have to deal with anybody else, going out of the lineup.
Oh, things are good.
They let you guys out of the hut down there. Huh?
A couple more ones are double fisted. I know what's going on there, boys.
Oh my goodness! So we really like what we've seen there so far, and it's just the start of what we could. I don't know how much power play work they've had. I don't know if they've had a chance really to review what they want to do on the power play consistently to make it effective. I don't know if they've had it seems like, though, obviously the kind of stuff that Torts is teaching for them to play the game in general is the perfect basis for an effective penalty kill. So that one 10 for 10 or whatever it was the first start of the preseason, that makes sense. But it's really going to be nice to see how this rolls along.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's take another timeout. We'll come back with more. We'll wrap things up here shortly from the East Food Halls. The Flyers get a 3-2 win over the Vancouver Canucks on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network.
So, Mike, you are right. They did kill it. Here's a tweet. Fun fact, JT Miller has been on the ice for every single goal against this season.
Oh, maybe that's why he got mad. That'll do it. That'll get you mad. Oh, man.
JT Miller, 1 million for every goal he's been on the ice so far.
It is the Flyers postgame show as they get the win over the Vancouver Canucks by a final score of 3-2. JT Miller, none.
You can't say that one.
Okay, he said, this is JT Miller. Russ Cohen just sent me the audio, but I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. And by the looks of this, I don't want to just put it on the air.
No.
He said, I've been on the ice essentially for all 8 bleeping goals against. Pretty frustrated.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
8 goals against in 2 games is no recipe for success either.
No, it's not. And I don't know. This team, this is the Canucks team. Obviously, they're going to start on the road here.
They started at home, and they played a really good first period against Edmonton, and then played.
Oh, was that at home? I thought that game was in Edmonton. My bad.
Maybe it was.
Sorry. I don't know. It's I thought it was a 5-game road trip to start the season. You got to go from maybe here to other places. I don't know, but it's not the ideal way to start a season. And I'm sure that JT Miller's going to figure it out. But yeah, I can see where that would be.
He just said a big deal.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. You're in any team in Canada, but you're in a media hotbed when you're on a team in Canada, and when your first 2 games after signing that deal go like that, you're going to hear about it.
Yeah. So, well, I wish I could say I felt bad for him, but I don't.
I do not.
No, I don't.
I'll feel bad for him if he continues the next game. Because aren't they playing? They got a couple Metro division.
Yeah, they get like the Rangers or somebody next.
Yeah, so they need to recover and
straighten it out.
Metro teams.
Just pull back on the stick there. Get the nose of the aircraft up a little bit. Speaking of next games, Flyers can head out on their first road trip of the season, Bri.
Yep.
And it's no easy task. I mean, Tuesday night, you go to the team that was in the Cup final last year, won the 2 Stanley Cups the years prior in Tampa. And then you're going to go your first back-to-back to Tampa and Florida on back-to-back nights. So you go to Amalie on Tuesday. You go down to Miami and face off against the Florida Panthers on Wednesday. You got a couple days off. You go over to Nashville, take on the Preds, and then you'll return home.
How many days off do they have?
I think they have 2 days off.
Oh, my goodness. Coatsy's going to be...
we may want to ship him back for a couple of days first. Yeah, so they'll play Tuesday night in Tampa, Wednesday night in Florida, and then they'll probably stay in Florida Wednesday night, practice, and then fly to Nashville Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
And then you got Thursday evening, Friday evening in Nashville, and then Saturday. Oh, the game's not until 8 o'clock at night. You're really sleeping in. Oh, man. Can we get a check on what I'm going
to need to send the support crew on this trip.
I'm going to send him some hydration and protein. Some room service around noon on Saturday.
Yeah. That is a trip and a half.
That's a great trip.
I'm glad it's in October, not in April.
Fall in Nashville would be perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
We had the All-Star game there 2016, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was, All-Star game was the 3rd week of January, whatever. It was 70 degrees there all night. Oh, my goodness, it was gorgeous.
Nothing wrong.
Yeah. So
then the Flyers will return home, take on San Jose, Florida, and Carolina. So that's the remainder of the month. Let's wrap things up, though. Let's thank a few people. Let's start with our audio engineer, Matt Menard. Did a great job tonight. Our in-studio engineer, how about Mike Vito, our on-site engineer, Betsy Deming, and our on-site engineer here at the East Food Hall, Amanda, doing a great job again. She's been flawless so far through 2. She's 2-0 as well. For Tim Saunders, Steve Coates, Brian Smith, I'm Jason Martinez. You've been listening to Philadelphia Flyers Hockey, a 3-2 win over the Canucks on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. Good night, everybody.